How to beat eXp in the UK. Good luck. Today, I'm joined by the wonderful Adam Day, who is the boss man of eXp in the UK, the biggest estate agency self-employed chain in the UK, and recently sold the most houses in 1 month, beating all competitors. Um, Adam, when did you start in eXp?
2019.
2019. You've been through COVID, and now biggest estate agent last month. We're filming this in June, so we felt so that in May you've been slowly moving up. You're beating Connells, you're beating William H. Brown on all the corporates, and in terms of self-employed estate agency, 5 or 6 times bigger than the nearest competitor. So how the hell can other self-employed models beat you? Talk to me.
I think this will sound really arrogant, but I think it's going to be very difficult. I think momentum is has a huge part. I think timing has a really big part to play. We timed it perfectly. Although having said that, there was a lot of other self-employed models that started
Oh.
in 2019, 2020, coming out of COVID, seeing that this was the next potential opportunity in the marketplace. And it's funny actually, at the time, everyone was saying we're going to be the biggest, and pitchforks out, we're going to be the biggest, and lots of people, and we were obviously, we took off like a train. So a lot of other self-employed businesses, estate agency businesses were saying, we're going to catch up with eXp, we're going to be the biggest. And then 2 years later, when they realized they couldn't be, they were saying, well, we didn't want to be the biggest in the first place. We want to be small, bespoke, and tailored to individual agents. We only want 20 or 30 agents, which I don't want to call BS, but I will call BS. So I think the momentum was with us, with eXp. I think the 2-year estate agency experience rule was absolutely crucial. And how do people beat eXp? Your first question. So for me,
And we're looking at this through the eyes of brokerages,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, if I left eXp, I would stay with eXp as an agent. Obviously, if I left my role, I'd stay as an agent because it's the best model out there. But if I was forced to leave and start up on my own and try and compete with eXp, what would I do? I'd copy it. And this is the problem: is most of the others haven't copied it. They don't have a cap. They don't use a UK-based CRM system. Their splits are not as generous, or if they're more generous, there's no cap. Their monthly fees are higher than ours. They have no revenue share. There's no equity in the business. So really, I would be creating all of that, and more, and trying to keep up with eXp. I mean, there's so many advantages these companies have got. They're UK based and UK founded, and we hear all this stuff, and I kind of get all of that. But the problem is that for them is that I had that in my arsenal right at the start, was to get rid of the Americanisms, get rid of real estate and brokerage and licensing and closing and all those words that didn't mean anything. And so hats off to them for doing that. But you've still got businesses that are starting saying they'll recruit anybody. Now, of course, the best estate agents are not going to join a model where they're working with Uber drivers and fitness instructors. Now, there are Uber drivers and fitness instructors that could translate to be really good, successful estate agents, but it's 1 in 20. And the problem is that I need 20 Uber drivers to be good 20 Uber drivers to become estate agents to beat one Mark Bentley, or one Tony Ruby, or one Samantha Serrano, or one Kirsty Hodgson. That's the reality of it. So these businesses that are coming in, they should be copying what we're doing and trying to make those little elements better. But as I say, I think momentum is a huge factor in all of this. And how do you get that momentum? I actually don't know how you get that momentum. We got a bit lucky with that, maybe with timing. So I think it's going to be a tough ask, but we'll see. Be interesting how the corporates respond, because the corporates could turn to being self-employed and be bigger than us very quickly. They've got an audience and a head count already, haven't they? Wonder how that works. So, Chris, I'm going to ask you.
You
Why?
always end up asking me questions.
I do, don't I? Yeah, we've done this before, haven't we? Swapped
Actually,
interviews.
my best performing video is you asking me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your best performing. Yeah. So
It's
our best performing? There you go. Everyone will think we're in cahoots, but you're not paid for any of this, are you, at all?
No,
Although you've been offered many times. That's what he says all the time. But why do you think we've been the most successful?
you're quietly competent. You're not showy. Um, which I like. I like, there's a fine line between cockiness and confidence, and I think you skirt it, but you're the right side. Um, I think you've been very lucky, but I believe you make your own luck in this world. So I don't say you're lucky, whatever. Is that early doors you had some senior lieutenants that got the principle of the sponsorships and the downlines. I I will in a bit just talk about how your recruitment strategy of some of your franchisees. I know not franchisees, whatever is I don't like, but that's something for separate. We're doing the good stuff now. Is that they brought people, they started their own journey, they told that story, and they're now bringing people on that journey with them. So they're helping and guiding and supporting, which is fantastic. And you have some the one of the criticism that I had of you guys a couple of years ago is that some people, when you were around that 300 or 400 agent mark, is that it's not like what it used to be.
Mm.
Now I'm in a lucky position. I get to talk to an awful lot of people, and one thing one thing is that the teams element that you've brought in is that there's no way you could have that family outlook with how many now, 600, 700.
750 now, yeah.
Okay, you can't have that with 700. So therefore the teams method has created lots of little tribes, and there's a number of tribes. You've got the Adam Mackay tribe, which is a fantastic tribe. You've got the Ben Moore tribe. You've got Claire Hughes with her tribe, and again doesn't shout about it, but some decent numbers there, and you know really really good. You've got James and John, with the org. I just love that you've got some really senior lieutenants that get it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've you'd be amazed the amount of people that think that I'm actually on your payroll, because I'm a huge fan of the self-employed model, but I am a huge fan of the EXP model as well. Others are available, and there's about 3 or 4 of them that I love to bits, including you guys. But what you've got is exceptional, because it's helping estate agents be estate agents.
But you say going back to the original question, why is EXP, or how do people beat EXP? The reason that John and James have the org, or Adam Mackay or Claire Hughes and all the ones you've mentioned, is because they're paid for it. They're paid for it through the residual income, or the extra income that EXP has, and so they're incentivized to do that, not just through the revenue share model, but also through equity. I think having equity in the business, the fact of the reality is that all these other brokerages, they want to sell out. They all want an exit at some point. They'll say they don't, and they're in it for the long term for the agents. But I guarantee if they got a hefty amount of money offered to them next week or next year, they'd exit and leave. And so EXP, I don't own EXP. I'm an employee of EXP World UK Limited. And so I don't have shares in EXP World UK Limited. I can't sell EXP World UK Limited. We're all equity shareholders
Mm.
of the big business. So I think, again, we're going back to that original question. I think that makes a big difference. And then the support element, I think you talk about, and no business is ever going to be the same with 300 agents compared to 30 agents. But again, and I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit, because I like to think I'm maybe 5% of the reason that we've done quite well. But I have not seen any other of the CEOs, or whatever you want to call it, go leaflet dropping with their agents. Or, I was down with Welly Shrieky in Enfield a few weeks ago, because he was having a tough time. So I popped down to see him, drove for an hour just to have an hour with him, and drove back again. And I don't see that. And then that cascades. That's come from America, right? That's not me. I've not invented that, but it's come from America, because I see the Americans doing that and creating that support. So you still can have that support network, when there's 700 agents, 1,000
Mm.
agents, 2,000 agents. And like I say, the teams model really helps with that as well.
But not everyone's that perfect, are they? There is A grade ones, and there are people who basically are not A grade. My beef is with those. But I see it as my job in the industry to say things that most people can't.
So what would you change then?
I don't think it's something you could change. My message would be to the self-employed agents of who are doing. They see it as a It's interesting you said that the recruiting other agents, they get rewarded for it. But I get a feeling from the names I've mentioned is that they get more of a kick from actually helping them. And they just happen to earn money from it, as opposed to saying, I'm going to earn money by bringing people to me.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're
And
probably,
it's a mindset thing, and it's really weird. But your, I don't know what you call them, your agents, whatever. You can see the ones that basically, I've just done this, it's changed my life, come and join me, as opposed to saying, I'll help you.
but the reason you mentioned about the initial lieutenants that started, we were all talking about Scott Gunn and Ben Moore, right? So it was me, Scott, and Ben. We're
Oh,
very much we were very close, and we spoke every
did an
day.
exceptional job.
Yeah, initially they were doing it for the money. If you asked them, they were doing it for the money. It was only when they realised the kick they got out of helping agents to succeed that they actually started doing it for the agents. And that's the mind shift. I think to be successful at that, and I know we're not talking about recruitment, but it is to have the mindset of I want to help people. And we've got others in the, Adam Mackay's a great example, but there's loads of them. There's dozens of agents out there that now have got that shift, that
And the
mindset
quicker you
correct.
get to that, you'll enjoy it more, and you'll actually end up earning more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Now, other self-employed models are available. I have to say that.
of course.
And I am massive fans of those as well. Not all of them. There's some right prats out there, but there are some absolutely fantastic ones. And if anyone ever wants to pick my brains on who I think is the best self-employed, do you mind if I mention some names?
Go for it.
You, TAUK, Avocado, You Move. Anyone else? Who else? Who else? Come on. I know you hate me asking this. Okay,
Yeah.
but come on, mate. Put your pride on the bloody shelf.
Well, there are
Who else?
others.
Who else? Come on.
There are others out there. Sean Newman, obviously,
Property
the property
experts. Yep.
experts. Our American friends, Keller Williams.
Yes.
Um, who else? There are other smaller sort of bespoke,
Yes.
more like the what's it called? The Avenue, I think.
Yes.
James. Is that James that runs that?
Mhm.
James and Jack. Who else? You've mentioned Avocado. Um, yeah, and there's a couple of London ones. Mavelli.
Yes.
Quite like their brand actually.
Harding Green.
Harding Green.
Although they tend to, because it's outside London, don't want to talk to oiky people like me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because you know what happens. But I think my advice is this. Well, my opinion is this: self-employed estate agencies, game-changing stuff for the right people with the right attitude and the right mindset, finding the right person to work alongside. There are some great EXP people, sponsors, and some absolute shockers. Thankfully, the vast majority of them are absolutely exceptional. So go and kiss a few frogs and see it, and some of them will be princes, and some of them will continue to be frogs. Adam, thank you for your time today, and thank you for what you're doing to help UK estate agents earn decent money, but more importantly, have good fun with it.
Thank you.